We will get started in just a second. Yes, this is Alex Blocks. This is his new album called, I think you pronounce it Hadel. Hadel or Hadel Rain. No fucking idea what that means, but it's a good song. We'll start in like 1 minute. Well, hello, you old so-and-sos. It is Jaffe. It's good to see it. So I want to tell you what this is. This is kind of a trial run tonight. We are doing, let me close that. We are doing a, well, hang on. Let me get the camera up, you old knuckleheads. Hang on. All right. Hey there. Oh, where's the text? Come on now. We are doing a, trial run. Hang on, let me get your chat up there. That's not what you need. All right, there we go. All right, so the normal Gabbin+Games show has been moved, at least for the next couple of weeks, to a kind of audience participation other than calling in on the red phone. That's for a number of reasons, but I think it'll make a better show. And I think it does make a better show, and it does make a better podcast. However, we're still going to obviously do live streams. Live streams as interviews, live streams as gameplay, and this is kind of Gabbin+Games Live. So it's still a game-centric show. We're going to talk about gaming news. It's just a lot more casual. So I'm not going to worry as much about the ums and ands. I'm not going to worry as much about being super fucking prepped about every single topic. We're just going to shoot the shit and talk about video games. And I want to see if both shows improve that way. Because I always find the live streams are better when they feel a little bit more from the hip, and I find that the podcasts are better when I have time to really think through and edit the thoughts and communicate what I'm trying to say. It could be in 2 weeks we scrap it, but this is just like making video games, baby. It's iterative. Now, I will tell you, I don't have a lot of energy tonight. I was up till 5 a.m. editing the podcast and the proper Gabbin+Games. I'll have my schedule back. I'm going to take some NyQuil tonight. I'll be back right as rain tomorrow. So tonight we are going to talk video games. I want to let you know there's a number down there. So you can call in on the Discord. I'll be there if you want to get on the show and just shoot the shit. You can also call in on the red phone. Now, we've done this before, and if it goes tits up, we'll just get rid of it. But if you call the number 949-954-0567 on your little cell phone, you'll get through to me when I decide to pick up the phone. I'm kind of busy, but if, you know, it's a good time to call and you have something interesting to say, I'll put you on the show. We'll gab. It's just a lot of times people, it's like we're trying to get rid of as many barriers of entry, you know, for the Discord. But a lot of times people are like, I don't know how to get on the Discord, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, Derek Robinson. Derek Robinson says, in other words, you know, in fact, here's something that's changing, Derek Robinson. Look what I did. Boop. Derek Robinson says, in other words, nothing is changing. Sounds good. Oh, shit, that's behind the red line. See, this is a pilot tonight. We're just testing. Don't fucking come at me and fucking judge me, you little fucksticks. Hang on. Let me bring the chat up there so it's the top of the line there, baby. There we go. Yeah, so no, things are changing. But it may not stay. It may not stay. Uncle Fuzznet says, can we leave messages on the phone or is it only for live calls? when I'm doing a live show, I'm apt to pick up the goddamn phone. But it may very well be that I don't, and then you can leave a message. So what's the best way to get over phone call jitters, says Kyle. Don't be a bitch. Let me tell you something. I was talking last night to my ex-wife, and I don't know what we were talking about, but it just kind of hit me. I says to her, it just hit me. I said, it's so weird that I used to be, when I first met you, I used to be afraid to call you. And I remember, because I mean, now she's just like, I'll say SIRI. I'm not going to say it because the phone's right here, Siri, call, her name. And it's not even to think about it. But I remember the first and couple of times I was calling her, I was so nervous. I was walking around my apartment in Culver City, and I was just like, oh shit, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I have to do this. I was terrified. It's just funny how things change. That's all I'm saying. Holy cow, we got Heath Nation back. Hello, good sir. It's always good to see you, buddy. How's things? Are you still wrestling? That's what I want to know. Let me just tell you something about the wrestling. Vince McMahon is firing everybody all the goddamn time. If you go professional, don't fucking go to Vince. Go to AEW. They'll probably keep you employed for a while. Rob, I would love for you to screen calls, but I don't know how to do that yet. So we'll just kind of see what happens. It may be something I turn off. It may be something I turn off only because, a lot of people call in to troll, which is fine if the troll's interesting, but, this is a pilot tonight. We're going to fucking play with it. Kit says, I forgot David's language. I completely forgot he's mature content. What are you talking about? Are you watching with a kid or something? Come on now, don't be a moron, you fuckstick. But thank you, Kit. Now, here's what we're going to talk about for a little bit. Let me bring up some topics for you kind humans. That ain't it. Come on, Jaffe. I'm tired, man. Hey, by the way, there's 6166. Did you see, I did that. You're actually on today's proper Gabbin+Games on the red phone where you called in, so I answered both your questions. Will you go back to Demon Souls Remake, says Johnny M. Yeah, I actually was playing it last night, so yes, I will go back to it. Lord Garth, hey, buddy, he says, I just noticed if you curse in chat, it doesn't display. Try now. That should work. Let's see. Fuck you, Kyle Homer, you piece of shit. Yeah, Rob just got his new Xbox Series X. Spazbo was able to order him one, and Rob got it. And I'll tell you what, he says he's been playing it constantly, which I understand. Now, here's what's weird. Last night, I barely missed all of the weekly challenges from the first sort of Battle Pass week or whatever the fuck it was. And I didn't even think about it. I did all the challenges in Halo for the Fiesta stuff. And then, so I'm playing it, and it was the first night in a long time that I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to play Halo right now. So I was like, I think I'm ready for new maps and some new content. But anyway, because I've been playing it like crazy. And so I started going through Xbox for a little bit, looking for something to play. And it was the first time in about 2 months where I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of feeling PlayStation. I just kind of wanted to be in that world for a while. So I went over to the PS5 and I started playing Hot Wheels again, which has I got a Wonder Woman car, Superman car. They have the super villains. They kind of have their own battle pass, basically. I didn't know that because I hadn't been on there in a while. And so I'm thinking about buying that and working through that. And I started playing Demon Souls a little bit. What do you mean it doesn't display? It doesn't display? Fuck. Baby, it's right there. It's on top of my head. Jar says Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. I would love to debate that with you. I honestly didn't follow it. I know progressives like myself seem to think he's guilty, and MAGAs like other folks seem to think he's not, and I really can't have an opinion because I didn't follow it, man. Spaz the Bow says, I hate how even though I have bell notifications on YouTube, it still doesn't notify me when you go live. I hate that too. I don't know what the fuck that's about. That's bullshit. 616, who's probably a little bit bigger of a Superman fan than I, but not by much, says there's a Superman car in the goddamn Hot Wheels. There is indeed. And it actually looks pretty good. Most of the Hot Wheels that are kind of like based on bad guys and stuff. Like the Cheetah one makes sense. Bane kind of makes sense. Superman makes sense. But then you start getting into some weird ones like Poison Ivy, and it's just a green Hot Wheel. It's like, really? That's as good as you can do? Yeah, man, I don't tell you. It's a good game. It's pretty fucking good. Lord Garth says, I was just trying to say I knew if was in the place when the first thing I heard was Jaffe yelling fuck. Oh, Lord Garth is saying I knew I was in the right place. That's right. When you heard me yelling fuck you. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, you know me, I'm happy to discuss politics, but this is more of a gaming show, and we can always talk politics in a different show, but I really don't know anything about that case, right? Yeah, I don't like that Superman was in Fortnite with a rifle. I really don't. I don't know how DC approved it. I don't know why they approved it. I think it's horseshit. I think it's absolutely horseshit. Superman should not be running around with a fucking gun. I know it's just a video game. I'm not a fucking moron. I just don't like it. Oh my God, that's good. Can I tell you something? But we're going to get into games, I promise. I'll tell you what we're going to start talking about tonight. We're going to first start kicking off tomorrow, Take Two, and how they've pissed off a bunch of people in just a second. But I want to tell you, my assistant was supposed to come yesterday, and then she was supposed to come today. I only bring this up because people are like, why are you drinking Gatorade and not Diet Coke? I haven't been to the store. So, oh, hey, there's Sir Games X. Good to see you, buddy. How are you, sir? What's been up? It has been a while. There he is right there with his crazy old Sonic avatar. She's supposed to come today, and she says to me, she says, my car got stolen last night. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, they stole my car. And I'm like, well, yeah, go deal with that. Don't worry about coming, and we'll work something out. Come later. And then I talked to her this morning. I'm like, how's it going? And she said, well, they found my car. I said, great. She says, yeah, but I can't come today because I have to take it for a deep clean. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, a meth addict stole my car. They found the meth addict inside. It was a woman who was passed out. The car smelled like shit and cigarettes. And the woman had taken a Sharpie, a red Sharpie, and drawn all over the interior of her vehicle. So thus, the end result, the most important thing is I don't have my Diet Coke. Now, you could say, Jaffe, why don't you just get off your fucking fat ass and go out and get it yourself? And my answer is not when I have DoorDash, bitch. This stream is brought to you by the brilliant folks over at DoorDash. They'll always come to your door, even just if they want to give you a blowjob. That's what's great about DoorDash, am I right? You know I am, you old knuckleheads. Okay, let us start the video game new. Listen, if prostitution was legal, we could do that. You could have DoorDash for prostitutes. I mean, I guess that's like, yes, Jaffe, that you just, that's what you do. You call prostitutes and they come. Yeah, but you could have it like DoorDash. It's like, we'll deliver pizza. We'll go to 7-Eleven. We'll bring you a prostitute. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Amex. The fuck? The fuck? What do you mean the fuck? What have I offended your Victorian sensibilities? Look. It's almost Christmas, almost the day baby Jesus was born. So we have to be able to talk. What the fuck is this? I don't even know what the fuck this is. This is an ad? Why do I have this ad? Look at this. This may be the problem with this thing I just installed. Naked X HD. Online strips without clothing. What? What the fuck? Anyway. Yeah, maybe he's a troll. Rob, if he keeps doing it, if you don't mind, sir, get rid of that little fuck. I am describing modern prostitution, Kyle. I know. I understand. I'm just saying that, look, you could say that Uber, I was just describing taxis, but let's ban that fucker. Get rid of him, Rob, or I'll do it. Let me do it. I'll enjoy it. What do I do? Just hit remove? Okay, you're gone, you fuck. Okay, let's talk about the news of the day. So this is interesting. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it, buddy. Call it Smash and Dash or Door Smash. Yeah, that's pretty good, Derek. That's pretty good. Okay, so Take-Two, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how true this is. Take-Two has gone on a rampage, says this poster over on the Reddit, and this was on NeoGAF as well. Trademark disputes. They claim they own the words Rockstar, Take-Two, Bully in all variants. Remember the slippery slope. They're even trying to claim at Hazelight Games, It Takes Two is profiting off their brand. I know the head of marketing over at Take-Two. I'm going to reach out to her when the next week after everybody's back from Thanksgiving and ask her about this. I don't think this is what it looks like. I think like Rockstar, for example. Rockstar, if you say he's a rock star, there's a, and it's rock. Like, I'll give you an example. They're suing some T-shirt or something that says, "Don't be a rock star, be a legend." Okay. But the way they spell Rockstar on the T-shirt is Rockstar one word. Well, Rockstar is not one word. Rockstar is rock space star, right? And so it could be like Take-Two with capital letters, Bully with a capital letter. They could be saying, look, we're not saying we own the word bully. We don't own the word Rockstar. But the way we write it and the way we present it, that is what we're claiming trademark ownership over. And I would get that. I would understand that. So I'm not entirely sure if this is as nefarious as it sounds. It could be, though. It absolutely could be. Who's to say? Ryan P., I appreciate that super chat. Look at that. You got a little shiny thing on your face. He says, why don't you play Destiny 2? It's on Game Pass. Ryan P., it's leaving Game Pass pretty soon. That's not the reason I don't play it. I did play Destiny 1, the beta, and I was really into it. And you know what it was? Here's what it was. It was that I didn't like that the way the single player was tuned. I had to play with other people, and if I didn't, it was very, very difficult. It's just not what I'm about. I liked the fact that I could go in with friends and do really well. But it was almost anything I wanted to do outside of those little races on the Return of the Jedi bikes and shit. I was like, why? I can't win unless I bring people in. And I'm not really that interested in bringing people in every time I want to go into a game. So that's why. Amick says, hell no. But thank you for the super chat and the question, Ryan P. I appreciate it, buddy. Let's put him back up on screen. Look at that little shiny thing. He's got a little shiny super chat. Look at that. Thanks, buddy. And I think you're from Australia. Hey, hello, mate. Amick says, hello. No, he says, hell no, that is sugarcoating it. God damn it, man. Hell no, that is sugarcoating it. 100% they're trying to own the word and sue the hell out of whoever uses it. You don't know that. There is no way. For example, if you go down this list here, they're actually saying, there are people who have used it before, right? So if I make a movie called It Takes Two to Tango, suddenly they can sue me because I'm using Take Two in the title, which is based on a vernacular or based on sort of a saying in the culture well before Take Two was ever born. Come on now, I don't believe it. I don't think that's true. So but I mean, look, man, you may be right. You may be absolutely right. But until I actually see where they're saying rock space star, Take Two, not with capital, Bully, not with capital, then I think we're talking something different. Did you know that Gene Simmons of Kiss owns the trademark of the money bag? No. Why would he own it? Because God knows he doesn't chase after people who use it. Let's look that up real quick. That sounds too odd to be accurate. Does Gene Simmons own money bag? Let's find out. Why does Simmons own the trademark for the term motion pictures or a money bag symbol? Your guess is as good as ours. Spin reveals that Kiss bassist Gene Simmons is the bassist. Oh, but he's Demon. He's also the lead singer, isn't he? In fact, does own the trademark of some sort of clip art style money bag issue. Well, there you go. Image. There you go. Well, I don't know, but you learn something new every day. Should you be able to make a movie about making movies and call it Take Two? It's a good question because it's capitalized. I really don't know. I honestly really don't know. I mean, I don't imagine this is real, but it's fucking possible. Suing because there is no gap in between the words is ridiculous, says Adversary One. I mean, it's potentially ridiculous, but it is also, I could see that if they feel when you put the words together and it's Rockstar versus Rockstar in the culture, they've put in equity in terms of investment, whether it's through work or success or money or marketing, in order to make that actually mean something. But I mean, yes, it does seem a little weird, but I'm going to give a call. I'm going to give a call to this marketing lady, or at least send her a message and say, hey, what's going on with this? So we'll find out. Let's move the fuck on real quick. I want to talk about Godfall. This is pretty interesting. This is new. This is a new thing that PS Plus is doing, and I don't think it's very good. I don't like it. I don't like it one single goddamn bit. Let me tell you what's going on. Hang on. Oh my God. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, okay. So Destiny. I'll get to Godfall in a second. Destiny, says Zach, is leaving Game Pass just as Halo's coming in. Xbox structured the Game Pass deal to use Destiny as a substitute for Halo, says Zach. Are you just speculating, or you know that for sure? Seems like it makes sense, though. Streamlabs, that's not what I want. Green Monkey says, when you have a ridiculous law firm on retainer, they got to do something. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But hopefully they won't be doing that. I got a call. Oh, it's on the other. 616 called and was asking me about, do I think Sony will be suing the people who are getting all the PS3 and some of the PS4 games back up and running that were taking down the servers, like Calling All Cars and Home and things like that. I answered them on the other show today, so you can check it out. So, yeah, what's YouTube says, Godfall, everybody done forgot about that. Oh, I know. But it's on a PS Plus this month. And this is interesting. This was the worst reviewed, probably one of the worst selling, if not the worst selling PS5 launch titles, okay? It was just lambasted, right? So it's not like this is a game that can afford to be arrogant and cocky with what I'm about to tell you. So they're basically putting a demo on PS Plus, and PS Plus is advertising it like, hey, this is one of your free games. And it's not. It's literally, you get the game, you download the demo, and you download Godfall, but it's called like Godfall Challenge Mode or something. And it's like a little bit of content at the end. And then after you play that content, which I don't know how long it takes, maybe a couple hours, Godfall Challenger Edition. You can only access the Lightbringer, Dreamstones, and Ascend Tower of Trials modes. Everything else is not accessible. At the end, they say, hey, give us $45, we'll unlock the whole game. I don't give a fuck about Godfall. I don't give a fuck that if Gearbox software is being shitty. I mean, I don't like it, but it's more Sony, honestly. It's like, Sony, what are you doing? You're putting a fucking demo on PS Plus? You charge people for PS Plus. That's really shitballs, baby. Kyle says, what happens if they put the whole game on PS Plus a year later? That would be so bad. Oh, I know. I mean, right? This is crazy. It's fucking insane. Brian E says, Jaffe, yeah, it's a joke. Most I'll do is flag it. I will need to be convinced really hard to download. Oh, for this fucking game? Yeah, you goddamn right. You goddamn right. We've gotten shit games in the past on PS Plus, says Kyle. Who cares? You know what, Kyle? It's not that I care regarding getting a shit game. It's not that. It's not even that I care. I'm not like going, oh no, I needed another game. I have so many fucking games coming out of my butthole, man. But the issue is more that it's a PS Plus paid service, and one of the things they sell you on are free games every month. And it's a demo. That's why I care, not because of the individual game, but because is it indicative of a change coming to PS Plus? Is it an indication that they're struggling to get new content because maybe it's all going to Game Pass, maybe it's going to PS Now? Who the fuck knows? But, you know, I don't know what to tell you. That's why I bring it up. Not because I'm like, oh, I'm upset about Godfall. I don't give a fuck about Godfall. It's a shit game, says Lord Garth, but it's not even the whole shit game. Yeah, maybe they were worried if we give it all to you, it'll make us look even worse. Nobody bought Godfall, says Eddie T, and I'm surprised they're acting like Godfall's too good to give away. That's a little weird. I agree with you. Johnny Martinez is an interesting question. He says, are there video game makers that don't like video games? I have to imagine there are, but I want to tell you something seriously about this. I was playing... my relationship with video games has really shifted since I started doing this stream and since I stopped making video games. And I've talked about this before. I was playing the other night Skyrim because I was testing out the cloud on the Xbox Game Pass service. Because it's working not now just through PC or your phone, but it goes directly to your Xbox now, and it's a very simple, very fun system to use. It's you don't even think about it. It's a really nice, no barrier of entry to get you into a bunch of games you might not try before. Like I literally downloaded, or didn't even download, I streamed Yakuza, what's it called, like a Dragon or something the other day. I never would have spent the 20 minutes to download it and install it and go through the cuts. I never would have done that before. But I'm scrolling through, and there's a picture of the Yakuza thing, and I'm like, I remember Gene Park telling me this is his game of the year. Let me fucking try this. It's got the cloud symbol on it, so I just clicked it, and within 25 seconds, I'm playing the fucking game. Granted, it's cutscene heavy, but I'm in it. Anyway, so I play Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 4 or 5, whatever it is, Skyrim, and I had played it when it first came out, and I had enjoyed it, but I didn't play it for that long. When you're making video games, this goes, Jonathan, I know you're like, what's my answer, fucker? When you're making video games, you're busy, man. You're so busy, and you develop, at least I developed a relationship with them that I certainly didn't hate them. But I really could not get into a headspace where I just enjoyed them other than pure mechanics pieces, which is probably why, honestly, I mean, I probably fucked myself, but there was no choice, right? Which is probably why at the end of God of War, everything I did was mechanics based, because as a player, I'm doing therapy on myself in real time. So I appreciate your question, Jonathan, because I'm only now realizing this. So when I designed and directed God of War, it was a lifetime dream to do that game because I had been immersed in worlds since Atari Adventure 2600. And I loved them, and I loved being in those worlds, and I fantasized about stepping into the holodeck, blah, blah, blah. And so God of War was the culmination of that dream, of that, oh my God, I want to make those worlds. I want to be one of the people that helps create those experiences for people. But after I did it, because it becomes so difficult when you're in the trenches of making games, at least for me, to lose yourself to other games. And sometimes that's because you can see behind the curtain too much. Sometimes that's because you're worried about competition when you see something great. Sometimes that's because you see something great and go, how am I going to fucking hire this guy from that team? There's a million things that sit on top of the experience, right? So mechanics-based games like Calling All Cars or Twisted Metal or whatever, Drawn to Death, all of those don't require you to immerse yourself in the fiction or the fantasy. They just kind of say, it's pure mechanics, baby, so it doesn't matter where your head is. You're either playing or you're not, And that was the only thing I could relate to as a designer, and I was pretty bad at making games like that, and it's probably what tanked my career. But I don't know any other way, because now that I'm no longer making games, I'm loving. Like, I'm playing Skyrim, and I'm like, holy shit, this is great. And I know most gamers are like, yeah, Jaffe, where you been for 10 years, you moron? I'm like, I've been making games. I didn't know. I played it, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's too big. How much did they spend on this? Now I play it, I'm like, oh my God, I love getting lost in this fucking world. So the answer to your question, which I appreciate, Johnny M., are there game makers that don't like video games? I don't think so, but I definitely think there are game makers who unintentionally have allowed the process of making games to absolutely fuck up the relationship they've had with video games. And I am very grateful and very glad that I have come back or come out the other side, because I would have very much missed that. Ryan P, thank you, y'all so-and-so. He says, D2 just hit PC GP. What the fuck are you talking about? Likely will be up for a year. What the fuck is D2? Just hit PC Game Pass. Likely will be up for a year. Thank you for the super chat, sir. I don't have a goddamn clue what the fuck is D2? Destiny 2. Oh, Destiny 2 is on Game Pass, but it's on the PC, but it's not on the hardware anymore, the Xbox. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'll give it a try. Bacon Magma, as always, he's contrarian Magma, says Game Pass is a fancier DRM. Don't own anything and be happy. Well, not me. Well, what you should invest in, though, Bacon Magma, is some punctuation. But that said, though, great. I don't give a fuck. I am free. My DNA, maybe it's the desert dwelling aspects of my dad's side of my ancestors back in the day of the Jews wandering the desert. Who the fuck knows? But my DNA doesn't need to own things. I don't walk around going, I gotta have all the boxes on the shelf. I gotta have a library. Why? Right? How often? Now again, I'm not saying you don't. Your mileage will vary, and that's great. It should. But how the fuck often do you go back and play a game when you finished it? I don't play them that often when I'm done, so I don't give a fuck. Hello, Brad Glasgow. Good to see you again, buddy. How's life, bud? Zach says, Yakuza Like a Dragon, probably the first game where I read the subtitles faster than the actors could deliver, pushing me to skip through cutscenes, says Zach. Yeah, I mean, I liked it, but I don't know if I'll be going back to it. Bare Metal, he's going back to what I was talking about, making video games. He says, I get it. Playing games while also making them changes the way you look at them. Absolutely. Changes the way you play. Ruins the experience because you're thinking on technical details so much. I mean, I think that's the more you get into the creative design, the more that's true. I think if you're a programmer or an artist, you can compartmentalize more. Like you can, you know, don't get me wrong. Programmers are still looking at the competition and going, holy shit, how'd they do that? But they're not thinking as much about the story and the nuance and the pacing and all that stuff. Whereas if you're a director of a game, you're always thinking about that stuff, even when you're not working. And so I think the more you get into the pure creative of the content creation of games, you run the risk of being, losing interest in other games that are out there, at least in that segment when you're making games, that time segment. Brian E. says, I think it's a similar story to anyone in the game biz. I hear stories from people who worked in game retail hating games due to having to sell it for work. I mean, it's a cliche, but, how the sausage is made, the minute you learn, I don't know, man. I see it in games. I don't see it in movies as much. I talk to people who make movies and TV, and they're just still filled with the same passion for going to see a new movie, or, oh my God, there's a Christopher Nolan movie out, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to people who make games, I don't see that. Musicians are the same. They can still lose themselves in joy over an album that just comes out from some artist that they compete with. But I don't see that as much. I see it sometimes, but I don't see it as much in games. Interesting question. This is, I like this question. I'm curious about it. Green Monkey says, I don't understand the obsession with liking the work. All you need to do is be good at it, as long as it isn't draining you mentally. Well, okay, I know what you're saying. I know what you're talking about. Let me take a swip of the wine. Hang on. Sip of the wine. Okay. God, I love Gatorade. It's so good. So I know what you're talking about, but okay. So if you're going to be a plumber, if you're going to be, hey, where'd my camera go? Did I just freeze? Let me fix that real quick. Hang on, fellas. Easy fix. See, I've learned. I've grown. Hang on. There we go. Look, if you're going to be a plumber, if you're going to write spreadsheets, if you enter into a career or a job or what have you, and it's not a passion job, it's like, look, I'm good at this. I can make a great living at this. I go home on the weekends and at night, and that's when I kind of pursue my passions. I think that's great. But when you enter into a field in the creative arts, whether you're on Broadway or you're directing movies or making video games or programming games or a fine artist, part of the reason you put up with a lot of the shit that comes with those jobs, the uncertainty, the crunch, sometimes the abuse. Not that those things don't exist elsewhere, but they exist, they're amplified in video games, is because you're getting to do your passion. You're getting to actually get paid to do the stuff that you would be doing for free anyway. And in that, I think you begin to have a tendency to expect that you will, enjoy the work. I think that makes total sense, actually. Thank you so much, Mr. Kruger. Spraynard Kruger says, Jaffe, 420'd and misted tweddle. Dave, 420'd and misted tweddle. Did my First Amendment audit and got slapped. Cops defended and got the... I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I appreciate your very generous super chat. I don't think anybody is going to top your generosity tonight. That's a lot of goddamn money. Wink. But I will tell you, you just paid $5 for what? I'll read it again. Hell, I'll sing it to you, but I don't know what the fuck you just wrote. Dave. I told my therapist once. I got a tangent. I went to my therapist. This was back, I was 24. 25. And I said to him, I just walked in one day. His name was David as well. And I said to him, I don't want to be called Dave anymore. I don't like it. I think there's something disrespectful about it. He says, oh, as a David, I understand. He says, when you take your name back, it means therapy's working. But it was true. It was like Dave. Dave's just like a guy, he's just kind of like the sidekick. The fat, chubby sidekick in the movie, but he's not the leading man. Dave's not the leading man. You know what I mean? So I don't respond to Dave. But in this case, since you pay me, fuck it, I'll do it. Dave, 420'd and misted tweddle. Did my First Amendment audit and got slapped. I really know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. I can't read anymore. It makes no goddamn sense. What the fuck are you talking about? Lyro says, hey man, Sony must change their refund policy because if PS didn't have a Game Pass-like service, it's concerning. With the $70 price tag. I agree. Look, here's what I think is happening with Sony. Okay? Okay, one moment. Well, I'm going to get right back to you, Lyro. Novodamus, yes, and I'm not going to say what you do in video games, but unless you've changed jobs since the last time you and I spoke about what you do in video games, you are a linchpin. You are a... they couldn't do their work without you, but no offense, but you don't make video games. You facilitate the making of video games. Without you, they can't do their work in most countries. But it's not like you're sitting there every day obsessing over, the jump height of the character, or should the character even be able to jump. So and I'm not going to give away where you work or what you do, but there's a lot of things I could throw back at you and say, oh, but what about this? Do you ever get tired of seeing this kind of movie? Or do you ever get tired of having people think this is how your profession is? Okay, but Lyro, yeah, so I'm with you, man. I think Sony in a lot of ways feels... I can't say it. Well, I could, but I'm not going to tell you that story. But let's just say that Sony in a lot of ways feels like a company that is behind the times a little bit. Whether you're talking about, service-based games, whether you're talking about subscription services, whether you're talking about free-to-play, whether you're talking about, even NFTs, whatever, all that shit, right? Just... They feel like they are very much stuck, and stuck is the wrong word maybe, but for me it feels like they're stuck. It feels like they are still thinking it's the old days where it's all about box products, and yeah, we have digital, but the idea that they don't recognize that on one side Game Pass is eating their lunch when it comes to, sub-services. On the other side with Steam... You're absolutely right. I will not buy a game on PlayStation unless it's the only place to get it, right? Or if I know the haptic triggers do a really good job for the game. But for exactly the reason you bring up, because Steam is just like, yeah, no worries. You didn't like it. Just get it back to us in 2 hours. Get something else. We'll get your money back. It is the easiest refund policy in the world. I've never even tried to refund a game with Sony because they don't make it easy, and I've heard it's a really hard thing to get an approval, and you got to go through customer service. I'm like, go fuck off. I agree. He asked me if I agree. Yes, Lyro, I agree 100%. I think Sony needs new leadership is wrong. I don't think anybody who looks at Sony, they're doing great right now. But I think Jim Ryan, if he doesn't have somebody, he needs to hire somebody who is younger, a lot younger, who really is ear to the train tracks of sort of where the cutting edge of all this shit is, and have him have a little desk, or her have a little desk outside Jim Ryan's office. And it's like Jim's got to consult the Oracle a handful of times a week, because sometimes it feels like he's just living in 1999 when it comes to business models and things like that. That's just my feeling, but I do agree with you, Lyro. So where did it go? Hang on, I was going to read one of these chats here. All right, here we go. Iron Mike, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, buddy. He says, Dave, like Dave the name, is the dope fiend shooting up dope who doesn't know the meaning of water nor soap. Are we doing rhymes? Is it that time? I think it is my time to shine. Let me tell you what I like. Oh, I will tell you, good Sir Iron Mike. One day I woke from a dream and I asked my therapist, what does it mean? And she said to me, you are so fine when you talk to Mike of Iron. There you go. Thank you very much. That's the show tonight, folks. I'll be back Tuesday night. Make sure to tip your waitresses. They work really, really hard and they never get appreciated. But thank you for the super chat, Iron Mike. I appreciate it, pal. Dave just sounds like your buddy, says Chris. David sounds like some snooty cat in an overcoat that smokes a bubble pipe. You goddamn right, sir. You goddamn right. Yeah, whoa, hang on. Novodamus says, that's all right, Chris. I'm successful. Wait, I got to see what Chris was saying to Novodamus. Oh, okay. So Novodamus says, I'm just kidding around. But I mean, look, man, you actually have one of those jobs that is, you have one of those jobs that is kind of cool. If you love your work and you're surrounded by video games, it's kind of the best of both worlds. Jimmy G says, Jaffe, how much is Game Pass? Depending on what you buy, Game Pass Ultimate will cost you about $15 a month. I know you can get the normal Game Pass that doesn't have PC and streaming for, I think, $8 a month. And there's a lot of deals and things like that as well. Rob the Mod says, how do you feel about people calling you Jaffe? I don't mind Jaffe. I think that's good. I actually, I don't know if I probably prefer Jaffe. If somebody calls me David, it's unusual. It's weird. Jaffe, I'm totally fine with. Absolutely fine with. I'm not even going to say it. You can't make me $70. Where did that go? Hang on. Can you tell chat not to redeem Godfall? Let's send Sony a message. We don't care, says Kyle. I mean, they can make their own decisions. They don't listen to me. Okay, hang on. Bacon Magma always defending Sony. So silly. He says Sony is behind the times, Jaffe, but somehow it's the most preferred system to play on. Isn't it like 120 million PS4s sold? Yeah. You don't understand how this works, man. It's skate where the puck is, right? It's the famous Gretzky quote. No one is saying, I just said Ryan doesn't need to be fired. He's doing great. But there are changes on the wind that have actually already started in other industries, and he seems to be not all that interested in them. He seems like the kind of executive that says, well, we'll change when we have to. But by that time, it's probably too late. Okay. Is this a weekly live stream, says Hair Metal Mogul? No. Moving on. No, this is... Okay, if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us, and good to see you, Hair Metal Mogul. I want to tell you something. I do a show called Gabbin+Games that is much more... I've been doing it for years, but I just started doing a non-audience version today on the YouTube. You can find that on this very channel. That is much more research serious. I mean, it's still silly, but it's really more about topics and really drilling down. This live Gabbin Games Live is more just kind of shoot the shit, but still talking games. This we'll probably do this show 2 or 3 times a week. I have to take a break. I'm not going anywhere. I just have to settle for a minute. Hang on. I didn't get any sleep last night. Here's what I did. I made the video, and then while it's rendering, I stayed up because HBO Max dropped 3 new episodes of The Sex Lives of College Girls. Do you know? It's a great show. I love that show. But one of the main characters, I'm like, why does she look so fucking familiar? Why does she look so fucking familiar? And I looked her up. I've never seen her before, but I've seen her brother before, which is Timothée Chalamet. I had just watched him in Dune, and I'm like, oh, because they kind of look alike. That's what it is. I know you might fucking hate this, says Jack, but have you thought about having a recap on games you really liked or hated this year? Why would I hate that? I do that every year. I will be doing, in fact, I invite the God of War members and the Cult of Calypso members to send me videos. Spazbo has sent me his top games of the year. They will be part of the special. We will do a special where we count down my top 10 of the year. We will hear the members' top 10s or top 3s or top games of the year. And then we will also be giving out the Shuhei Awards, which are actually game design awards because no one else gives awards for specifically game design. And we are. So no, I don't hate that at all. I don't believe that if you're in the top 10, you're number 1. But I'll put him in there because I know human beings like the structure of a top 10 list. But you know, if you're in the top 10, you're fucking, you know, it's kind of like watching, I was talking to somebody the other night about Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom and Will Smith and King Richard. And they're both probably going to be nominated for Oscars. The idea that one of them is the better actor this year, come on. I mean, if you've seen both those movies, and I have, they're both excellent performances. The idea that you're going to say this guy was better than that guy, based on what scale are you using to judge? So I feel the same way about top 10 list. If you're on the top 10 list, you're fucking golden. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to... Oh, what interviews are next, says Puppet 8. I will know Monday or Tuesday. We're getting back big time into the interview game. I've been really busy with other things, but I think now that I have a system of these 2 streams, or of Gabbin Games Live, I can take a break from worrying about that, let that settle for a couple of months, or at least 2 or 3 months. That's a couple, Jaffe. I can get back to focusing on creating that content. So listen to me real quick. I want to show you something. If you're looking at your screen, look, I don't have a lot to say about it other than I hate it. This is the Steam Deck box, the final packaging. Now, I get it. I want to make sure this is not the dev kit. This is the box, man. This is right. This says, let's just be clear on this. This is final packaging. Here's a quick Steam Deck update. We've recently completed our manufacturing build and we'll be using these units for additional testing. One of the main differences between these units and the previous is we are now testing our packaging design. So before we start sending these out to devs, we wanted to give you a sneak peek of the final packaging customers will see in February. I know what I'm about to say is minor, but I just want to say it anyway. I fucking hate what has happened to video game boxes. I made a video about it. It's nothing new. You know what I'm saying. But all you got to do is Google Super Nintendo's box. All you got to do is Google the Sega Genesis box, the Atari 2600 box. I know, we're all mature now. Oh, it's new, it's art, it's electronics. We want to get laid a lot. I mean, it's ridiculous how marketing plays on gamers' insecurities about getting laid. It'll look like a toy. You know what? Shut up. You're going to get fucked because you have confidence. If you don't have confidence, it doesn't really matter. You may be good looking and rich, you'll get fucked. But you get fucked once if you suck at it, and you'll suck at it if you don't have confidence. Okay? The idea that my electronics look all nice and mature. Fuck you. These are some of the most entertaining products on fucking planet Earth, and you're putting them in boxes that literally look like Solid Snake could be hiding inside them. That's ridiculous. Remember that great viral video with the little kid and his sister when he's opening up the N64 at Christmas time? I'm almost certain that moment inspired the movie 8-Bit Christmas, which ultimately has grown on me. I kind of like that movie. But he opened it. If you listen to the guy today, he's done interviews since then. He's like, I opened it and I knew the minute I saw the big colorful N on the packaging that was it. That we got ourselves a Nintendo 64. Look at this fucking thing. Look at this. Look at the PlayStation 5 box. It's dreck. It's dreck. I mean, what is happening? What is happening? Look at this. What's fun about that? Right? Look at that. And then I mean, in the back of it's just like, ugh, so boring. Look at this though. Look at this beautiful fucking thing. Look, it's colorful on the front. You got some characters and shit. You flip it over on the back, and it shows you just a wall of fucking game. Look at that. What kid is not going to love sitting in the back of the station wagon or the minivan going home and just obsessing over this beautiful, colorful box? You have to have enough confidence, says Cosmic, to carry a controller around with you. That's right. Rob says my new Xbox is going to get me laid. Hey, man, if you can pull that off, you should make like a, you should make like a reality show or like mystery, the mystery method. Heath Nation says, Jaffe, how you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. Let me think for a minute. Let me give you an honest, solid answer. How am I doing? Okay, I'm doing well because I think, at least for the time being, I can stop obsessing and worrying about format. I feel good about that. That's good. I'm doing well because I'm exercising a little bit more. That's good. I'm doing well. There's a lot of good media that I'm enjoying. Games, movies, TV shows. So I'm doing well. I think the biggest stress, Heath Nation, in my life is probably the awareness that I'm coming to the end of my children's childhood. And one is 18 and one is 16. And before you know it, it'll be empty nest time. And I don't know how I'm going to handle that. So I think the only thing that's kind of a burden at the moment in my life is that kind of, and I think I'll get through it, of course, but I think there's a sense of, I'm looking forward to coming out the other side where that's just a normal relationship with my kids, where it's like, oh, I have this adult relationship with my children now. But that's probably the only negative thing. I'm looking forward to the holidays. We're going to go get a tree this week. So Heath Nation, I'm doing pretty good, sir. How are you? Do you think Sony would ever buy back Crash? No, I don't. Or Spyro? No, I don't. Activision is mothballing them, it seems. Let me tell you something. If you watch the proper Gabbin+Games from this morning, I dive deep into that because, first off, I've been loving playing the Spyro reimagined or whatever the fuck it is from Toys for Bob. But I talk about how Activision basically, Toys for Bob not only made Skylanders, they made the brilliant Crash Bandicoot, I think it was 4, the one last year, which was delightful, fucking one of the best platformers I've played. And they made the Spyro remake or remaster, whatever. It's a remaster because I actually was going between the two, the emulated Spyro's Riptor Rage and then the new one. Pickup placements are exact. The little fairy placements are exact. It's the perfect definition of a remaster. But anyway, brilliant developer. Those motherfuckers have been folded into Call of Duty. It's like, thanks for making these great fucking games for us that are wonderful and revered, but we only made $280 million in profit off those. We've made over $2 billion in less than 2 years on Warzone. I think we're going to have you guys, making some guns and desert levels to fight in, right? Cyclown, let's just say you're not right. You're not right. You're not wrong on that. You're absolutely right on that. When did Sony own Crash? Yeah, they never did own Crash, Spazbo. That's absolutely true. I was there when it was called Willy the Wombat, and Universal with Mark Cerny brought it in, and someone said, "Hey Jaffe, look at this fucking game. What do you think?" And we all gathered around, and we were just like, "Holy fuck, that is the most beautiful fucking thing we've ever seen in our lives." So yeah, but Sony never owned it. No. Kyle says Toys for Bob is incredibly impressive. They have pulled off so fucking much. That's right. That's right. And now they're making Call of Duty. Think about it. Bacon Magma says, I find anything to complain about, even if it's a box Jaffe. Bacon Magma, I'm sorry I'm smarter than you. Yeah? I'm sorry I'm more intelligent than you. Okay? Because this is what I mean by that, good sir. The whole packaging is part of the joy. The marketing, the advertising, the PR, the launch events, the commercials, all of it is part of the. It's like being a fan of baseball and going there and you love the smell of the field and the smell of the hot dogs and peanuts and the fact that they haven't retired the fucking Oregon after 100 and something years. They're still playing the goddamn Oregon in the 7th inning stretch. It's all the accoutrement that surround the core hobby, which is video games. So it's not that I'm complaining about the boxes. I'm saying that it sucks that, you know what it reminds me of? I'll tell you exactly why it also triggers me a little bit. It reminds me of, I had a really good friend all throughout grade school and junior high. And they were as geeky and weird and wonderful as I was. And then we get to high school and they suddenly started changing to be more, to fit in. They wanted to be cool. They wanted to, And I was like, don't do that. You're totally sanding off the rough edges that make you really interesting. But they were more interested in being liked and popular. And so that's kind of what it feels like with a lot of these choices lately. It's like, I don't think games are toys. I think video games are an art form. And some are silly and stupid, and some are serious and meaningful, and that's great. But when you're selling a video game console, I'm just saying, I don't think it's asking too much to make it look like you're not buying. Look, the Steam Deck box, this is the video game packaging equivalent of going to a butcher, and he wraps your T-bone steaks in some butcher paper with some tape and sends you on your way. What? Who's excited to get this? You get this, and you know what this looks like? I'm going to tell you what this looks like. Look at this. Hang on. Gift socks. Box. I ordered, it looks like the boxes that like 4 or 5 socks come in. Like when you give somebody Christmas socks and they open. That's what it looks like. Don't fucking come at me, Bacon Magma, you fuck stick. Let me get some of these notes here. Hang on. Kruger, thank you, buddy, for the super chat. He says, Jaffe, listen, I played Ripto's Rage in the hospital when I had a collapsed lung when you were 4. Well, let me tell you something about that. First off, thank you. I appreciate the chat, buddy. I want to tell you something about that. That game, because what I was doing some research. I wanted to go back and go, how far back can I play older games where they still hold up? And I was very pleasantly surprised that I could play Ripto's Rage on PS2 emulation with all the old clunky graphics and shit and still go, okay, you got to learn a little bit how to control the camera because you didn't have any analog sticks and shit. But this is really fun. It still holds up. So I absolutely hear you. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm sure you have a great memory of that game and helped get you out of the hospital. Adversary 1 says, Willie the Wombat, what the fuck? That's what it was called. Encryption says, Jaffe, if game journos claim they don't get paid for reviews, can you explain Battlefield 2042 and the reviews that gave it an 8+? I haven't read the reviews. I know it's really buggy. I honestly don't have any data for you there. I don't know. I don't think. I've never seen reviewers get paid for games. All I can say is I've actually had a reviewer tell me once when I asked them about stuff like that, and they said, well, we get caught up on the hype too. And I've said this before. I was like, motherfucker, you're a professional. You're supposed to be. You don't have the luxury of getting caught up in the hype. You think Roger Ebert, when he was reviewing a movie, was like, I know it ended up being shit, but I was so hyped because the marketing got me excited. It's like, no, he was a professional critic. So I don't know. I can tell you that I think there are some cool things about Battlefield. I think that portal system is fucking amazing. I think it's Wooly Gamer was posting about it on Twitter. He's got a buddy, he was helping test this, where they basically made a version of SOCOM in Battlefield, and then someone else is doing a car combat game in Battlefield with Portal. So it may have been the reviewer was just super hyped about that aspect of the title, but I haven't read their review. Sheriff says, Jaffe, welcome back. Did you play any new games? I have been playing a lot of Halo. I have been playing Skyrim. I just got a code for a new game that was never released, but it was completed in the 90s. It just came out on Switch. I have a code for the PlayStation. I may stream it tonight. If not, I will stream it this week. But mostly I've been on Halo, Forza, Skyrim. I went back to Hot Wheels, and I really want to go back to finish Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us over the holiday break. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to play. Rob says, Jaffe, let's run an arcade when the kids leave home. Look, there's a great documentary. I'm going to help you guys out. I'm going to help you guys out real quick. I recommend this. If you're into arcades, I'll find it later. I'll post it later. But there's literally, Rob, a documentary on Amazon Prime about a guy he's like late 20s, early 30s, who risks everything to open a retro arcade. And it's really cool. It's a really good documentary, but I would not want to go into that business. No. Kyle, thank you, buddy. He says the PS5 packaging is eco-friendly. A real super progressive guy would care about it. They also save money on ink. Again, first off, Kyle, thank you for the super chat. I'm not complaining about the cardboard stock that they made the box out of. But there's a lot of colors on that box, okay? And even if you did it in black and white, it can still be fucking fun. I know you're just taking the piss, but you can be eco-friendly without being boring. I don't think one thing needs to destroy the others. Nonya says Call of Duty needs to flop. It has need to for a long time. They had been copy and pasting the same experience back when Battlefield 2 came out. Again, don't blame them. Blame the gamer. Battlefield Vanguard is not doing anywhere near as well as expected. I think they said it was 40% down. But Warzone is just... if you watch... Again, it's on my mind because I recorded it today. If you watch the... what's it called? If you watch the Gabbin+Games from this morning... Call of Duty Warzone makes over $5 million a day. It makes, I think they said it was like about $4,000 a minute. So gamers are speaking with their wallets and they're saying, we're good. Keep it coming, Bobby Kotick, you old so-and-so. Eddie T, buddy, thank you so much. Eddie has been a member since 14 months. Gods of War. I don't know why you're... It says new member, though. You're not a new member. Maybe it's confused. But here's what he says. But thank you, buddy. He says, I love the old PS1 Crash commercials with the guy in the suit. Even Pizza Hut was great. Yeah, there was a funness about them. I don't know if you were on the stream, Eddie. I showed the boxes the other night of PS5, and even PS4 was the same. It's a screenshot or two, and most of the box on the back is legal. It's like, what is happening? I understood the financial reasons we got rid of manuals, although I hated it, that we got rid of maps, that we got rid of coming soon catalogs, but I understood it. I hated it. We can't even have nice back of the boxes. Now it's all legal shit. I don't get it. Heath Nation's been a member for 7 months. He's in the Cult of Calypso. He says, it feels good to be a member again. It's good to have you back, sir. I appreciate it. It is good to see you. I hope all is well with you. This is from Spaz. He's been a member for 13 months. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. He says, maybe if the Steam Deck, I don't know why your messages aren't coming up. If the Steam Deck was being sold in stores like this, then it would be a problem. But since the Steam Deck is only available online, they got delayed, so it's not like they're going to be a Christmas gift. No, I know. I don't think any of these things harm And this is the tricky part, man. This is the real tricky part, and why I probably would not make a good video game executive, or maybe I would make a brilliant one. I don't know. There's a great book, I know it's a stupid title, from the guy, there used to be a chain of restaurants called Farrell's, and I'm almost certain that it was run by Mike Farrell's dad, who played BJ Honeycutt in MASH, who is Will Ferrell's dad. But it was kind of an old-timey fashion restaurant, and his book he put out was called Give 'Em the Pickle, because his whole thing was go above and beyond what the customer expects, and they will love you for it, and they will be loyal to you because of it. And so at the time, if you wanted pickles with your sandwich or whatever at the deli, you had to pay for it. And he was kind of famous for being like, no, you just give them the pickle. It's okay, we'll lose a couple of cents, but we'll gain invaluable amounts in their customer loyalty and the good feelings our name gives them, right? So I don't know. I think you're absolutely right, Spaz. If you look at the box, they're not, the PlayStation box doesn't have to be fun to sell gangbusters. The Steam Deck doesn't have to be fun to sell gangbusters. The back box on PS5 doesn't have to be cool to sell millions and millions and millions of copies. But there's part of me that thinks if you do that, you put yourself in a better position to make the customer happy, and a happy customer is probably something you should be chasing after. That's kind of my thinking. But I hear you. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Carl B. Man has been a member for half a goddamn year. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that as well. Thank you guys very, very goddamn much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Vitaphone says, good packaging is also designed to win the space attention. Like if you're in a store, there's an elaborate amount of psychology that goes into the design because of SKU space and retail is costly. Right. No, that's absolutely true. If you're going to be in retail, you have to pop. But ultimately, what has come with that as a side effect is, I think, good packaging also creates goodwill for the company that makes it. Rob says he'll give all y'all the pickle, you goddamn old knucklehead. I want to read this to you. I haven't looked at this, so we're gonna enjoy this together. That's not what I'm looking for. There we go. This is a website called Cog Connected. I'd never heard of it, but I saw the headline and I was curious. This is the 3 best and worst games from this month. Let's see what he says. I'm just curious. The best games, he says, Forza 5, contender for best reviewed game of the year. I'll agree with that. It was a wonderful game. I love it. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Haven't played it, but I know people who like that series think it's the knees bees. Battlefield 2042. Okay, well, let's read what he says, because somebody was asking, do these guys get paid? He says, okay, we get it. It has some bugs and things that need to be fixed. Many of those fixes are incoming. If you're patient and can ride out the storm, we're pretty convinced you'll be rewarded. How about if you're patient, maybe my check will clear. Just keep putting it through, EA, and eventually you'll get paid. Much like Call of Duty, this guy says, big shooters never start strong. Not true. Halo started pretty strong, but by Christmas, things are rocking. Battlefield 2042 took the old-timey war series into the future. It's been in the future. It went back to the past, then it's back to the future. Is this guy is he new? Chief among them is Hazard Mode, a 4-player team-based extraction mode. Our reviewer wrote, the game manages to strike an awesome balance of interesting and comfortable. And while many feel the game released with much content missing, there was plenty upon launch to keep you busy. All right, well, I haven't played it. I played the beta. I was bored. I can't really speak to if his review is valid or not, but certainly there's a lot of people online who disagree. Here are the worst titles, according to this good folk, Stephen Adamus, that released this month, or last month. Where'd it go? Wait, what? The good? Where's the bad? What the fuck am I looking at? What? Yeah, well, I don't know if I agree with that, Brian. Brian E. says, Cyberpunk teaches us that you cannot be patient. I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I agree with that. I think Cyberpunk is clearly a game that if you look at the Steam reviews, in fact, it was actually kind of heartwarming. One of the lead designers came out and said, it feels so good. You guys don't know what it means that now with all these bug fixes and stuff, which was not his fault. It might have been, but it probably wasn't. It was probably management. that his vision or the team's vision couldn't get really expressed and couldn't get enjoyed. And now he's like, oh my God, yes, we've dragged our reputation through the mud. We've lost billions in value with our stock. But thank God people are finally recognizing, whether you love it or hate it, but it's nice they love it, that the game that was there the whole time when it's all cleaned up and stuff is actually pretty good. So I don't know. I think if you're patient, look, the talk about how much better it's gotten has definitely made me want to go back to it. Where's the bad? I want to see the bad. There's the good. The good. I guess he forgot the bad? Hello, champion. Didn't I give it to you?
No, you took it.
I took it back? Hang on, fellas. Yeah, hey, will you do me a favor? Would you bring me the yellow Gatorade in the fridge if you don't mind? I appreciate it. Thank you, bud. Oh, I didn't know that. Rotten says, today is both a palindrome and an ambigram, which means it can be read backwards and forwards and upside down. 1202. Wait, 12.
Do you have any other flavors?
No, would you like that? You can have that if you want. Just bring me, would you?
A cup.
No, bring me an orange juice then. Bring me the big orange juice jug.
Oh, I'm not going to have the whole thing.
Okay. Do you know today is a palindrome and an anagram?
What's that?
The date is 12. The date is 12. No, wait. How am I doing this? It's 2021. It's the 2nd and it's the 12th month. Mm-hmm. So 12/02/2021. So it reads the same backwards as forwards. And if you put it upside down, it reads the same. Which means something should happen.
Well, I hope it happens soon.
Yeah, me too.
Good.
I hope it's good. That's right.
I'll pour you a cup of this.
Whether you want the cup or you want the bottle, I don't care. But I want some of it unless you want to just bring me some orange juice. Okay. I did not break up with Diet Coke, although I did find out that Big Bag Bobby Kotick is on the board of Coke, and there a lot of people are requesting that he gets knocked off the board. So. AI says, or Owl says, do devs hate working for bad publishers? Fuck yeah, of course. It's like working for anybody that you hate. Of course, it's a terrible experience. Okay, I want to show you this. I want to jump to some news stories real quick. Let's I want to show you some cool stuff. You want some help? All I'm saying is there's a new car that, look, when you're my age, younger, that's going to be your driving experience. Look at this. I'm showing my kid who's 16. It's going to be like driving in a video game. That's an augmented reality windshield. Mm-hmm. And it tells you where to go, where to turn. Oh, look, there's my friend walking there. There's the movie theater I'm going to with an ad and shit. It's cool. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, this is a new car that they're trying to get off the ground with a augmented reality window screen. But this is the thing that's really fascinating me, and I want to be forward thinking about it. I haven't fallen in love with crypto, and I haven't fallen in love with NFTs and all that shit. It seems a little goofy to me, and I know my lack of knowledge about these things is probably what is getting in the way. And if I'm almost tempted to get a book over the holidays, like Cryptocurrencies for Dummies, because I don't.
NFTs are fucking ugly.
Well, they're anything. That's like saying art is ugly.
The ones I've seen are.
Oh
hideous.
yeah, no, I know that.
The popular ones are ugly as fuck.
You could make just a picture of the dog and make it an NFT. There's nothing inherent about the content.
It isn't just commissions.
It's you buy an NFT that gets minted or something, and it basically, you own that digital asset and all that goes with it. And because it's on the blockchain, whatever the fuck that means, there's no way anyone can ever own it unless you sell it to them. So it's like an investment.
That's the funniest thing ever.
But you could also just right click it and take a screenshot and have that. But
that's what I don't. People can just buy a commission.
I don't understand it.
It's like the same thing as buying like an adoptable.
But I'm not arrogant enough to assume that all of these very bright people are into it and I know more than they do. So I need to do some more research
I
because
just think it's a little
from the
silly.
outside looking in, it looks moronic. It looks totally stupid. But I got to be missing something because they're spending billions.
Yeah.
So
Billions.
yes.
God damn.
Will you shut the door? Thanks for the cup, buddy.
Mm-hmm. You have the cat.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so anyway, I want to talk to you about this though. So I found this really interesting. There is this week there were a number of this is again, I am not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys that sits around and says, just because I don't get it, it's dumb. Okay, there's a lot of things I don't get, and then I eventually do, and I go, oh my God, right? And there are very smart people that are into this metaverse shit and NFTs and all that. But I will say, from a guy who's lived for 50 years, that's been in and around technology, the vast majority of those 50 years, I don't get it. And maybe I just lack vision, or maybe it just hasn't been explained to me well. But in the last week or two, companies like this one on your screen, Metaverse Properties, there have been a couple of $4 million sales for virtual land, right? And I want to show you what some of this looks like. I'm going to go into a database in a second. We'll go in together. There have been a couple of 4 million, a couple of 2 million, where people are literally, this is like a Sotheby's, but for virtual. You can go to this website and you can shop for virtual space. Okay. And it's so dumb because it's virtual. So they're like this is like, oh, but this is waterfront, you know, and it's like, oh, you can buy it or you can rent it. So if you want to rent it, you know, they literally have like property managers, and it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, right? But that said, though, you know, you've got, here you go. Metaverse Group, which we were just on, bought digital land for $2.4 million last Tuesday. Before that, the Sandbox, which is, and I'm going to take you to these, like Decentraland is hoping to be the metaverse. The Sandbox is hoping to be the metaverse. It's basically Home. It's PlayStation Home or Second Life. I don't get what the big deal is. But this says in second place, Decentraland, that brought in 15 million in sales so far. But Sandbox did last week they did like $4 million in a couple of these things, right? So I gotta be missing something though, right? So let me show you this. This is what Decentraland looks like, okay? And yeah, it's exactly what Facebook is doing. So the thing I don't really understand is, it may have crashed. The thing I don't really understand is, if you look at something like Home, and again, I'm not opposed to this. I mean, I think this shit is cool. Like, I have been for the longest time wanting like geek conventions like Comic-Con and things like that to, you know, go into this kind of world. I love that about them. Hang on, let me reload this page. But you know, we've seen this, and I'm gonna walk you around this. We've seen this before in Home and in Second Life and in, you know, Fortnite in some ways. And again, the people who are making this stuff, they're not stupid. You know, I know people in the video game business much smarter than me that are really into this shit, and I'm like, what is it that you guys are seeing that I'm not seeing? So let me jump into this. This is, oh, you can't see it. Sorry. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Okay, it's loading the scene right now. 1 second. But I'm like, what is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing, right? Okay, hang on. Okay. All right. Okay, let me turn up the volume just a little bit. Hello, RC Young. I mean, this is VR chat, right? I mean, there's nothing. I don't understand what I'm. It's cool, but it's also weird. Like, you're going to spend millions of dollars on virtual land in hope that that particular one is, that your particular virtual location is going to be the one versus VR chat or Facebook or Sandbox or whatever. But yeah, so you can, this is it. This is what it is. And you can go to the map, right? And it's just like, people are spending a lot of money to own this shit. And I don't really understand it. Michael says, check out Saitama, great crypto, changed my life. Vitaphone says it's virtual real estate. No, I get it. I just don't understand why you would want it. I also don't understand why let me just show you some of this and you tell me. But I'm going to get a book over the holidays on crypto because I need to read it and understand it before I really think it's stupid. But from an outside looking in, it's pretty dumb. Yeah, corporations have bought in already, Vitaphone. I know. I absolutely know. I don't understand why. It's taken a long time to load for some reason. It's getting there, though. It's like saying, says Bacon, you should honor the dollar when you can just... Why should I honor the dollar when I can just print one? It's all about what the value means. I understand that, but I'm talking more like owning NFTs or owning virtual land, right? Because it's like, what they're saying is, okay, like let's say this building right on the ocean or the beach, whatever this fucking water thing is, let's say this becomes a really expensive piece of virtual land. And the guy I was reading the interview with was like, yeah, we want to kind of put land and have like the Rodeo Drive. So if you want to go to Gucci and shop at the Gucci place, it's going to be on this strip and we're going to really build it out and all this stuff. And okay, I get that. But, I guess I just don't understand why... It's like all these companies have to kind of buy into this fantasy because if I owned, oh my God, I have a gun in my head now. It's very rough. If I owned, I'm thinking of a fashion brand. If I owned Louis Vuitton and it's like, oh, if you want to be on our road, you have to pay $1 million in rent per year to be in our virtual Rodeo Drive. I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'll just open up my own fucking space because I'd rather put that $1 million into marketing. So if you want to play with Louis Vuitton shit, you'll just know how to get there on the internet. So I struggle with understanding, even though I like this, I like the promise of this in terms of, linked worlds that are like Ready Player One. Of course, it sounds like a lot of fun and there's a lot of cool things you could do in there. But I struggle to understand why the people who are so into this idea of the metaverse feel that the average person is going to just embrace the limits that come with being in 3D space. Why do I need, as fun as this is to pretend that I'm in the location, and if it was a really cool set and I was like at Comic-Con virtually or something, that'd be awesome. But if I'm just practically living my life, why do I need to go to an office building, a virtual office building to work? Why don't I just click on the website and go, okay, I'm there? I just don't understand it. Vitaphone says I'm missing what the metaverse is. Could you call in on the phone line or on the Discord, Vitaphone, and explain it to me? I would absolutely love, I'm open-minded, and there's something about it that is appealing to me. But it also seems incredibly stupid. And it doesn't mean it's not going to work because, like I said, there's a lot of people that are really fucking smart that are into this. But I'm missing it. And let's be clear, I'm not even talking crypto. I'm talking the metaverse. I understand that those are, in some of these sites, are tied together. because like it allows you to have the currency of the world, and it's encrypted and it's safe and all that. I get that. But I'm talking more about why is the metaverse so desirable for a lot of these companies right now. So let's see. Let's go to Tokiland. Yeah, so Vitaphone's going to call in. Yeah, I would love to get some education on this. Because, like I said, I'm not sitting around shitting on it. I think it's kind of cool. Brett Newman, I'm doing well, sir. How are you doing, man? Again, yeah. So Thrill says it seems like, not Thrill. Merrill Film says people thought the internet was stupid. Michael Lemon says most definitely not a scam. But you guys are talking about Bitcoin. I don't know enough about Bitcoin to have a real valid opinion. I'm talking about the metaverse, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, this is Vitaphone. Vitaphone, it's Jaffe. Can you hear me?
Hey, Jaffe. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. How you been?
Doing pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Good. All right, so explain this. Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, just want to clarify, I'm not an expert. I've just been following Decentraland for a couple of years and the whole metaverse concept.
Okay.
So what you're saying is like, why not just put a couple $1 million into investing into your own thing if you're a corporation? The reason that you wouldn't really do that is, or you could, but it would be missing out, is that the metaverse is a shared experience. And like the big thing with Facebook changing to Meta, I mean, that's kind of something that a lot of people that have been looking to say, well, who's going to be the first big player in the metaverse? Facebook going all in like that, it just, I mean, I don't want to say Zuckerberg's like a end-all be-all genius who knows everything, but, pretty big company, there's so many companies going in on this concept. It kind of says that maybe there is a little bit more merit to what a lot of people think, VR nerds are just only into this stuff.
No, I agree. There's like I said, that's why I'm not just poo-pooing it. I'm saying I was hoping you could explain to me what maybe people like me, and there's a lot of us, because it does seem quite stupid.
Sure.
What are we missing? Because like I've had virtual worlds to run around in for a very long time, and I can tell you, like friends of mine that aren't gamers are not gonna, if they want to buy something or they want to do their Christmas shopping, at least right now, they would rather just go to a website and type in Amazon and just scroll and get on with their fucking lives, versus going, oh, I want to go live in the world and walk around in it and have all of the challenges of space. And like, why does it need to be a metaphorical representation of our actual lives? Like, what's the value of that for the average person who's not a gamer?
Sure. The short answer is there's no value in that at the moment. No, and I don't want to say no as in zero, but the value of prospect isn't there yet. What it is okay. So the metaverse is a place that you can, like you were talking about, all the things that have come before. Like home and these types of things. They don't really compare because they're not a metaverse. Like home is a game. A metaverse is something that is not attached to a specific platform that you'll be able to engage with from pretty much any type of platform in the near future. So, like when PlayStation pulls the plug on home's gone, right? Or when Second Life loses its audience because the game is out of date or they just stop updating it, it's done. Okay. A metaverse concept is essentially, for lack of a better term, it's in the cloud. It's never going anywhere. It's not going to become outdated. It's just going to be continuously added to.
But okay, so before you go on, let me ask that. So I'm running around in Decentraland. There's one called the Sandbox. Sure. Obviously, Facebook is doing one called Meta. Is there going to be a company that owns the main base, or is Facebook's Meta going to link up with Decentraland?
That is the underlying promise. A lot of doubters and skeptics were very worried about Facebook's initial, like, their research stuff that kind of leaked out about, oh, we could own this thing. Facebook said, well, that's not really our concept. That was just one idea thrown around. The whole concept of a metaverse is that it is interconnected across any type of VR platform. So you buy, like you buy, any kind of, meta, like, art, and it's your buddy who's, like, engages in the metaverse through one platform can come over and take a look at your virtual home. That's not the real selling point per se, but the metaverse gives you a place to collate all that stuff, and you can engage. Basically, one of the main reasons that, like, Decentraland has had a lot of traction is they were one of the first companies. They've been around for about, I think, three and a half years. Their platform has been up, and it's why Atari got in on it last year, which was a pretty big spike on the mana pricing, and a number of other major corporations have bought tons of real estate there. And it part of it is that it's based on a relative scarcity, so that's why the plots of land are so expensive and continue to grow. But they also have, this is the kind of the shady part about Decentraland that people are worried about, is you can gamble in Decentraland, which you really can't on the other platforms. They have casinos, a casino where you can actually go and, gamble your mana, right. Which is kind of an ace up their sleeve that's given them a lot of, that platform specifically, a lot of traction. Right. But it's kind of the Wild West as far as legally what's going on there.
Okay, but so just so I'm clear, so unless they just want to get bought out, the people making Decentraland and making these big financial purchases to own real estate, virtual real estate in Decentraland, they have every expectation that it's not going to be like PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and the Amico. It's not going to be like, well, I'm on Decentraland and you're on Facebook's Meta. Sorry, come to my space. It's going to be more, those will just be the same thing, even though literally they may not be the same thing. There won't be any friction between the players feeling like they're not the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
For it to become anything, to become a true metaverse, the metaverse is like Web 3.0. Okay, you have the internet, then you have Web 2.0, which is social media apps in your phone, and like Web 3.0 is the metaverse. It's a totally interconnected internet experience that does communicate across different platforms.
Okay. So then the other question is, do you think, or what is the logic behind, like, people who are behind this, like Zuckerberg, really feel that the average person, not a gamer, but, the average person is going to want to come to a 3D space, and instead of just clicking on Amazon, they're going to want to go, like, let's pretend, or let me get rid of this fucking thing. Let's pretend that I'm shopping for an Apple computer and this is the new Apple store in the metaverse. They're basically saying, instead of going to the website of Apple and just scrolling, which is much faster, the average person's going to want to come into a 3D space and look around like they're in a real Apple store. I mean, I think that's super cool, but I struggle to see how, friends of mine who don't game would want to do that versus just go to the website.
Sure. And the long-term gamble is that, like, the same reason that social media apps at one point seemed like it's hard to imagine now, but at one point people thought, well, why would you do that when you could just call your friend, right? Why would you hang out online and play games with them when you could just go meet up with them and have coffee?
Okay.
They're looking at the breakthroughs in technology and where technology is going. This is why there's a lot of competition right now, especially since, when Apple changed their name to Meta, that was kind of like the opening salvo of, like, okay, it's like the fight has finally begun. The R&D is, we spent years and years and years and, countless, man hours researching where is this technology going. And Apple was the first, Facebook was the first one to come out and go all in and say, look, this is going to be the future.
Right. Okay. I can appreciate that vision. And a lot of it is also, if you look at like, kids today, my kids when they were 5 and 6 were running around rudimentary 3D worlds, so they're going to be comfortable with something like this. So I can also see that being a part of the bet they're making, right? Which is, you're not talking about your mom from the 90s or the early 2000s. Yeah. This is kids who are going to be adults in 20 years. This is going to be second nature to them in terms of moving through three-dimensional space, right? And so these guys these guys want to just get in early. I mean, I love the idea. I fucking love the idea. I just don't understand the viability of it, but I appreciate you giving me some insight because look, I put a TikTok video up a couple of last month where I was going from Night Driver, which was state-of-the-art arcade racing when I was a kid, and then 40 years later, you're playing Forza 5 Horizon that almost looks photoreal. And it's like, I can imagine this in 40 years if it goes, I mean, maybe it will be like Ready Player One. And I thought Ready Player One was fucking cool. So
I think we're less than half of that time away. I mean, I think that the kind of the big cues is there are, several generations now that already live most of their life on their phone. And you look at if you look at the old memes about Warcraft players shitting in buckets and stuff, not willing to get off the computer that long.
Right.
That's already a generation and a half ago. That's already 15 years old. I mean, we live on our phones at this point, and I think what the big players in the game are looking at is how close we are with augmented reality glasses being dirt cheap. VR headsets are only going to get cheaper and cheaper, and who knows better than Facebook as far as how many units they're moving with, the Quest, as they make it cheaper and more available. It's not so much that you would hop on VR to go to the Apple Store. It's that you will already be in the metaverse, hanging out and doing what you do, and going, hey, let's go to the Apple Store. Hey, let's go to whatever store, because you're already hanging out with your friends in the metaverse.
Right.
That's kind of the future they're looking at. Not the same way that gameplay mechanics. A lot of people play games not even really to play the games. They play games just to grind because that's their pastime.
Right.
Grind on. So.
Interesting. All right. So I appreciate the education on this. I'm excited by the fantasy of it. Hopefully it looks like we're actually getting the reality. So, all right, Vitaphone, thank you for giving me some insight into it. I'm excited to learn more about it over the break.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, bud.
Later.
All right. There goes Vitaphone. Well, there you go. I mean, I love all this stuff. I don't know what kind of real future it's got, but I'm excited when I hear people talk about it. Hang on, let me get back to the screen 1 second. I'm excited when I hear people talk about it. Sam says, thanks for being a member, buddy. I appreciate that. He says, for 4 months, he says, why do I have to wear a VR headset and use motion instead of just looking at a metaverse on a monitor? I don't think you do. I mean, I wasn't wearing a headset. I imagine there will be ways to navigate. Even if you go to, I was in one of the metaverses today, I forget which one it was, and you don't even you can navigate it by moving forward, like playing a video game, but you can also just sort of warp to where you want to go. So I'm sure there'll be a variety of ways to sort of progress through the 3D space. But Brian E. says, I respect this like I respect an idea of cloud gaming. It can work, but only if the infrastructure is developed. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a super cool idea. I'm excited by it, and like I said, I would love to go to geek conventions in the metaverse. I would absolutely love that. So, right, but I understand, Kyle. The idea when people say, Kyle says we have multiple monopolies with no interest in communicating. I mean, that's the thing that always not scares me, but makes me curious a little bit. Which is how I mean, the deals that have to be made to get Spider-Man in Avengers for PlayStation only, or the deals that have to be made to get all the characters in Ready Player One in the movie. I mean, it's lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers. And suddenly what? I'm going to be able to make a Care Bear avatar, or I'm going to be able to make a Harry Potter avatar that's owned by Warner Brothers and have that avatar get murdered by, Luke Skywalker that's owned by Disney, and they're just going to be okay with their IP being totally just bastardized like that. I mean, I know that exists now, like in VR chat, but I don't imagine, once it becomes a real business, they're going to allow that. But I mean, I would love that. That'd be fantastic. Case in point, says Brian, developing the metaverse where you can connect to Steam from a virtual hub and game with friends. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that would be really, really cool. All right. Well, anyway, there you go. Interesting stuff. And I agree, by the way, about the AR stuff. Out of the stuff that I can see that I go, this will change the world. Maybe the metaverse will, but this shit, AR, this is going to fucking change the world. This, at least my brain can go, oh, I totally get why this would change the world, right? I mean, can you imagine getting behind a car either with glasses or a windshield, and it's just, it just becomes this thing that sits on top of your life. I think it's wonderful. Lucy Lou bots. Where's that? Honestly, I like Lucy Lou. All right, fellas, there you go. That's been Gabbin. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Help me out. Help me out for a second. Give me some education here. So this has been Gabbin+Games live. Gabbin+Games proper is currently on track to be different. It's on track to be what I put up this morning over on the YouTube, which is, I guess, here. How was this? Like, this was a show that didn't take a lot of prep. It took a little prep, but it wasn't like I can only do this show twice a week, because those take a lot of time. But it was also very free-flowing, and it's probably not like something you'd want to listen to on a podcast. Do you like the demarcation? Do you like the fact that there is Gabbin+Games Live and Gabbin+Games proper? Do you think that's the right call, or is it like, dude, no, just go back to what you were doing? I know it's early, but I would love to know your initial thoughts if you don't mind sharing. But that's the show. That's what we're doing today, and then I'll be back. Maybe I'll be streaming games tonight, but I'll definitely be streaming later in the week. Push topics ahead of time and start with a caller bank. Says Kyle Homer. Push topics ahead of time. I think the hard part starting with callers is you never know if you're going to get good ones, and I don't have a screener. And so if I just start the show, unless you mean this one, Rob says it feels kind of the same. Carlos likes it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see where it takes us. Don't let it go. Okay. So Digital says, yes, I'm feeling the new format's nice. Thank you. Kyle says, don't let it go on the fly, because the chat isn't helpful. I like a proper communication show. I love live stuff myself. Thank you, Naked. I only like the live stuff personally. Need the chat, says Nugget. Okay. Yeah, Nah Dog, like, I would never timestamp this ever, because it would just, it's not broken down enough. Bacon says, Jaffe, thoughts on man getting rid of their penis and giving it to trans men if they want them? Sure. I mean, look, if that technology, I'll tell you what, if that technology existed and I have a trans son, I would absolutely give my penis to my trans son. I would. I'm 50. I've used it. I'm sure I'll use it in the future. Hopefully. But I would absolutely, I would give that up for my son to have that, because 100%, if it would function and stuff for him. It's kind of weird. I got my dad's dick. But I don't know what the options are other than kind of surgery at this point, bottom surgery, which I don't think is that advanced right now. But anyway, yeah, so there you go, Bacon. I don't know if you were actually expecting an answer, but there you go. Hair Metal says, I loved it. I'm new to the channel and it felt smooth and interactive. Nice. Thank you, sir. Well, Hair Metal, like I said, check into the other show if you ever get time, which is called just Gabbin+Games. There was one uploaded today on the channel. Let me know if you like that one better or not. What kind of kid would want a 50-year-old penis? I'm not, Darth Nugget, I know. I understand. I'm not necessarily suggesting a kid would want it. I'm just saying that I'd be good to kind of go, I'd be down with that, is what I'm saying. If he needed it or wanted it, is all I'm saying. But I think we're probably close to growing penises in a lab pretty soon. I mean, how hard is a penis to make? If we can make the metaverse work, we can make, growing some penises work. Fellas, thanks so much for joining us for Gabbin+Games. Rob the Mod, thank you as always. Rathy, I think you were here. Rathy, thank you as well. I will be back. I don't know what my schedule is yet. I'm going to play around with how long these shows take to put up, and I will definitely be back a handful of times the rest of the week. And I'll